What's going on, everybody? ASCII Adam here. If you enjoyed today's content, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to get future Division 2 updates. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to my fellow service members and veterans. We love you. Thank you for your service. Also, suicide is never an option. If you're feeling suicidal, please get help. Call a family member, call a friend, call the National Suicide Hotline, message me. Do what you need to do to get yourself well. Alright guys, how's everybody doing? It has been a minute since I made a video. We've kind of just been in that lull waiting for TU6, but yesterday, big information from the state of the game. I'm not going to rehash the state of the game because most of it was stuff we already knew. I will say though that the second raid will not be out this year. It's coming out sometime in 2020, which is a disappointment. Hopefully that doesn't drive too many people away, but what I am going to talk about today is the new specialization, because this is huge, guys. Huge. If you're into skill builds, and you know I'm into skill builds, huge. And the funny thing is, they kind of skipped over it yesterday and didn't even really hit on the most important part of the spec. So let me dive into it here. And what I want to talk about first is we'll go over the new Hive first. So the new Hive, basically you put it out there and it will boost, you know, it has charges just like any other Hive, and it boosts other people's skills as well as your own. And apparently they didn't show this, but if you have it on your back, it still boosts your skills while it's on your back. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. If it won't take charges as long as you're carrying it, who knows? But we'll see. Myself, I don't know if I would use that. I will give it a shot, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use it with is the problem. I think it would probably go good with the turret, but then you're giving up seeker mines. You know, if we had 3 slots, that would be something different. You would definitely have that on to boost 2 of your other stats, but we don't. We only have 2 skills. So I'm not really seeing how that's going to take the place of a skill. It didn't look like it buffed it so much that it's going to be a necessity for sure. So, that being said, so let's skip around here and let's talk about the grenade a little bit. So, you're going to get an EMP grenade, and it disrupts and does damage to all electronic abilities, or electrical abilities within the affected area. That's pretty cool. I can see that, especially on Black Tusk missions, heroics. It will be very nice to be able to, you know, put a dog down, that kind of thing. That will be pretty decent. Not a whole lot to say about that. That's just what it is. It is an EMP grenade, which, depending on how it works, I hope it's a pulse like the one that we get thrown at us, because that would be really useful. If it's not, and it's just an explosion one-time thing, then it may be less useful, but still pretty useful. All right, there is a skill called Techno Man, and it says, equipping a skill grants 15% bonus armor. When a skill dies, recover 20% armor. I don't know what that means. Equipping a skill grants 15% bonus armor. Don't you always have a skill equipped? And doesn't everyone always have a skills equipped? I don't know anybody that runs around with no skills. So I'm not exactly sure what that means or how it works. But seems okay, I guess. There could be upsides to that. You know, when you've got to shoot with your gun, that you're going to have your skill probably dead, so that might work out decently. Or maybe, who knows, maybe every 10 seconds you throw your seeker mines and you get 20% armor because they die. Or maybe it'll be bugged when it first comes out, and it will be on all seekers, so you get like 120% armor. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll see. So they've got a branch now in the tree on the bottom right-hand side that you see here. And basically what that does is it allows you to choose between plus 10% healing on skills or plus 10% damage on skills. Now, I don't know anybody that actually runs healing, so, you know, other than, you know, dropping your chem launcher or something, but if you're running a skill build for, I don't know anybody that runs, I guess, a pure healing build, so I guess people could run this tree if they're a gun build, but I don't know why you would. So if you're running a pure skill build, it's almost 100% damaged right now. I don't know why they even put that in there. I don't see why. Honestly, I don't see why they just wouldn't give you both. That seems like kind of a wasted thing right there. It would be nice to have 10% damage and healing, because who knows? Maybe somebody would then run a healer, maybe one healing skill and one damage skill. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. I don't really understand why it's a branch. All right, so I kind of put this off for a couple minutes, but the elephant in the room on this specialization is called Amped. And what it does is it gives you plus 50% skill power. And if you just didn't go, holy hell, that is amazing, then you're wrong. I'm kidding, but you're wrong. What that means is if you're running this specialization, you only need 2,000 skill power to get 3,000 skill power. That is absolutely huge. I mean, just this specialization is going to make me rework my whole build, because you can get 2,000 skill power on 2 pieces of gear. So you could be running a full skill build with really 2 pieces of gear and then have damage or armor, or say, patience on the knee pads, which would be freaking awesome. Now, I look at this as I could see running Hardwire with this and then running Terminate instead of BTSU. And I say that because what you would want to do is run this Hive, run the Terminate on your gloves, along with, some blues maybe. Because the way I see it is if you're speccing into this and you're actually going to use that 50% skill power to the best of your ability and have some blues or reds, you're going to have less yellows. And BTSU really thrives on those yellows. So I could see having Terminate instead of the BTSU gloves because of this specialization. And running a turret with this booster Hive, and it gives you 10% damage. And then you've got the 30% damage from Terminate. And so, yeah, honestly, my theory crafting is just through the roof at this point with this spec, because of course I'm gonna get this spec, no doubt about it. But man, guys, that is amazing. Just truly amazing to get plus 50% skill power. I'll probably need 3 pieces of gear to get to 2,000, but if you know what skills you're running, you don't even need that, because even though they're having the amount of skill power on mods for targeted skills, you can still boost a couple of hundred right there. So you may only need to get 1,700 skill power on your actual gear in order to reach 3,000 skill power. That is going to open up so many more builds, being able to get to 3,000 skill power and have some damage and healing, or have some damage and armor, which means that kind of would make skill build much more raid viable as well, because part of the reason you were so unraid viable is because of how little armor you had, or how much little damage your gun does, mostly on the armor side. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that could be huge. All right, let me finish out this tree. That's enough ranting on that. We'll figure it out on Tuesday, right? So there's a skill called a talent called Dismantling, and that's plus 20% damage to drones, which is nice. Skills and robotics, so the doggos and all that good stuff. So that will probably help with the I can't think of what it's called, the exotic that shoots the dogs, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. There is a special Underbarrel, which they didn't talk about too much, and it is the linked laser pointer. It's a technician laser pointer that pulses targets at which it's aimed. That's kind of interesting. I have no idea how that's going to work, if it actually counts as a pulse, and if that's the case, can it work with spotter, which would be another way to work in something other than skill power into this build. Interesting, interesting. Then there's a talent called Faraday Field. And what that says is party members within 5 meters of your deployed and undisrupted skills are immune to shock and disruption. So, I don't see this being super useful, but, you know, I guess it might be. It's going to be super situational. But, regardless, it's fine. Yeah, so that's really it as far as the skills go. I don't even care to talk about the rocket launcher, blah, blah, blah. It shoots things, whatever. It's the same as every other one. It's probably a little bit, it's a bit underpowered. Like they said, it wouldn't kill, you know, elites or big targets, so whatever. It's just there to use. Man, this Technician is, I think it's going to be really, really cool and really, really fun with skill builds. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you guys definitely on Tuesday. Hopefully I can come up with some content to do before then. It's just getting a little tough right now. All right, take it easy.